Senior Nationals are this weekend, but who can you expect to win? Let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name is Josiah, and welcome to the Fanco Wrestling YouTube channel. And this is one of the biggest weekends of wrestling that we have got this year, at least in the past 6 months. And I am super stoked to see all of these guys competing because we have so many collegiate wrestlers signed up for this tournament because of what's at stake. So the top 8 placers in this tournament, in each bracket, will actually qualify for an Olympic Redshirt. And we see a lot more collegiate guys sign up for this tournament because of the uncertainty of the season. And it's kind of looming. Nobody's sure exactly what's going on, but I, for one, am holding out hope. Now, this is exactly how you can watch and what is going on. And then I will get into the some of the top seeds of the tournament, as well as my predictions for who I think is going to make the finals and win each bracket in men's freestyle. So the event starts this weekend. You can watch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's women's freestyle, men's freestyle, as well as Greco-Roman wrestling. Again, in this video, I'm talking about the men's freestyle predictions, but there's going to be so much great wrestling happening. You can watch live on FloWrestling. You can watch it via the link down in the description below. You can check that out. It's a direct link. Will take you right there to the hub and exactly everything that is going on with the event. The men's freestyle starts this Saturday, and man, I am stoked to see what happens. So, starting off at 57 kilos. 57 kilos is a pretty solid weight, and we have a couple weights that are very loaded. 65 kilograms being one of those, but we'll get to that right after 57 kilos. So 57 kilos, these are your top seeds. In addition to these guys, we also have Sean Russell, Brandon Courtney, Jacob Camacho, and Jack Medley. Jacob Camacho, I think, as I mentioned in some of my other videos, I think is a dark horse for this upcoming season. But as far as this tournament, I'm interested to see some of his freestyle prowess. Of course, he's going to be looking for that Olympic redshirt. But how about some of these other guys? I think one interesting guy to note here is Zane Richards, who actually defeated Zach Sanders at the Rumble on the Rooftop event earlier this year. And that was, I think, a really exciting bout and a great match overall. But you can see, actually, that Sanders will be facing off against Spencer Lee later in the Hawkeye Wrestling Club event. But anyways, I digress back to the top guys. I really think that these top 2 guys, the top 2 seeds, are going to be the ones that make the finals with Vito and Darian Cruz. Both have some very, great freestyle backgrounds, great wrestling backgrounds. Vito, unfortunately, pulled out of the Beat the Streets recently, but he did wrestle over the summer at the FloWrestling July 25th card, where he defeated Sammy Alvarez in honestly one of the best matches of that event. We also have Darian Cruz, who recently wrestled in the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club event, and he had that match with Thomas Gilman, and Gilman really put it to him. I will say before that, Darian Cruz was in the match. He was taking Gilman down. He was right there with him, fighting him off. But then he kind of hit that wall where Gilman was just able to really take advantage of him and step it up. So because of that, it's tough to say exactly who I think is going to win. My pick here is going to be with Vito. I think Vito has just that slight edge there, and that's why my pick is going to be Vito for the 57 kilos. And please leave your comments down below, as well as maybe there's some guys that I'm just leaving off this list that you think I should not be counting out. And again, brackets can change, things can change, seeds can change depending on exactly what's going on. But 65 kilos, oh my goodness, this is going to be the weight to watch. This is the weight to watch at Senior Nationals this weekend. Wow. Look at all these guys. Joey McKenna, Jaden Ironman, Evan Henderson, Andy Simmons, Kanan Storr. My goodness gracious, so many tough guys here. On top of that, you also have Dean Heil, as well as his brother Josh Heil, Matt Kolodzik, Mitch McKee, Andrew Alvarez, Luke Pletcher, Yaya Thomas, Chad Red, Ethan Lezak, Austin Gomez. The list goes on and on and on and on. Who is going to end up on top of this bracket? This is something, to be honest with you, you could see Joey McKenna go out any round, as well as Jaden Ironman, just because I think the quality of competition at 65 kilos is just amazing. It is absolutely amazing what is going to happen here. But as far as what's going to happen, Joey McKenna is a Final X finalist, wrestled against Logan Stieber back in, I believe, 2018. He ended up losing to him, but he has some of the strongest freestyle prowess here out of all these guys. Jaden Ironman, recent new Hawkeye, will be exciting to see him representing the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, exactly what's going on there. And I think between 65 kilos, who exactly is going to make the finals, who's going to be there, I think that you're going to see Luke Pletcher end up, who's actually right now the 11 seed. I think you're going to see him take out Ironman later on in the bracket, and I think you're going to see him go up against Joey McKenna in the finals. And the reason this is so exciting, because you have two Ohio State Buckeyes going up against each other. Now, Luke Pletcher is now at the Pitt Wrestling Club, and Joey McKenna is out of Ohio State as well, but two former Buckeyes going at it in the finals. I think this could be an exciting match. As far as who I think is going to win, I think McKenna is going to be the one who ends up pulling it off on top. I mean, he's somebody who has beat Yanni in the past, wrestled Yanni, who's another phenomenal freestyle wrestler. And I think that because of that, Joey McKenna is going to end up on top of 65 kilos. But again, it's anybody's weight. I mean, I'm super excited to see like Dean Heil coming back at it and wrestling in this bracket as well. And he's somebody I'm not counting out, as well as his brother Josh Heil. I'm super pumped to see each of these guys wrestle. So 74 kilos as we move up a little bit more. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one with all these guys. You see the seeds here. Also don't want to count out Hayden Hidlay, AC Headley, as well as Danny Bronigal, and some other guys of note in this bracket. And I think we have a couple interesting things going on here. So Logan Massa is the senior at Michigan, coming back for Michigan. Won the 2019 Senior Nationals tournament, which was obviously a big accomplishment there, as well as a nice win at the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club event. Not necessarily the most exciting match there, but he still had a nice win at that event, which is fairly recent. We also have Ryan Deacon, the Ryan Deacon, David Carr, and Hayden Hidlay kind of triangle going on there with, I mean, Deacon has been on top of it this past season in the NCAA, but I think that is kind of an interesting three guys of note here. So Deacon, 2019 U.S. Open champ, beat James Green back then, as well as a Final X finalist. So he's just like Joey McKenna was, he's another Final X finalist, and I think even though he's the number 4 seed, I think he's somebody you should not be counting out at all. I mean, he's going to probably end up running into Massa in the semis. Massa may just have a little bit more muscle and strength on him. He may be able to have that over Deacon, but I'm not counting Deacon out. We also have David Carr, who is just great freestyle success in the junior level and cadet levels, as well as Hayden Hidlay, who actually I think we're going to see him meet up with Valencia and overtake him. I think I really have high hopes for Hayden Hidlay. And maybe that's me just because I'm such a big Hidlay fan. I think we're going to see him in the finals against Massa. I think that this is ultimately Massa's weight to take, but we could end up seeing Deacon. If Deacon overtakes Massa in one of the earlier rounds, I think that Deacon's going to ultimately end up being the victor at the 74 kilos bracket. And that brings us to 86 kilos, where originally I think Miles Martin was signed up for 86 kilos, but I don't think he's there right now. But we do still have a lot of other exciting guys here. With all these guys, Gabe Dean, Trent Hidlay, Drew Foster, David McFadden, who's I believe bumping up a little bit, Taylor Lujan, Max Dean as well. So you see some of these brothers already coming in each of these brackets at the same weight, which, I mean, man, imagine if we got a brother and brother match. I'd love to see some of those. Mikey Labriola, Taylor Venz, Andrew Morgan as well at this weight. We have such another loaded weight. This is one of the other loaded weights similar to 65 kilos. Maybe not as big as 65 kilos, but we still have a lot of loaded guys here. Now, Nate Jackson is somebody who will be wrestling in the upcoming 8-man bracket at FloWrestling. He's somebody not to overlook, ranked domestically in freestyle. I'm surprised he got the number 1 seed, but maybe well-deserved. We also have Gabe Dean, who hasn't taken the mat in 3 years, but with his training at Cornell, let's not forget the guys that he's training with. He's training with Max Dean. He's also training with Kyle Dake, as well as some of these other guys in the room at Cornell, being one of the assistant coaches there. Although he hasn't stepped on the mat in a couple years, we'll see. Maybe he shakes the rust off one of the first match or two, but he's somebody I'm really looking out for in this bracket. We also have Drew Foster, NCAA champ, and I think he's somebody else to look out for, as well as the guy he went up against with Max Dean. So this bracket is pretty loaded. Who do I pick for being in the finals? I think Gabe Dean ultimately is going to overtake or come into the finals, and he's going to end up going against Drew Foster. Drew Foster is kind of my underdog, dark horse pick, but I think he's somebody who's going to be able to pull it off. Ultimately, I have Gabe Dean winning the 86 kilogram bracket, but I'm so pumped to see what else happens at this weight. Next, we move on to 97 kilos. But right before we get to 97 kilos, I actually want to let you know that if you are a Fanco Wrestling subscriber, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on the latest in the Fanco Wrestling and what is going on. So now let's get back to 97 kilos, where we have a heavyweight. On top of each of these guys, we also have Ty Wallace, Nick Reenan, Lucas Davison, Eric Schultz, Nino Bonacorsi, who is somebody who you can never count out. Between Schultz and Bonacorsi, I think those are two guys who can upend some of these other top seeds and looking out for. Kyvan Gadsden is somebody who is a multiple-time All-American, as well as a Pan Am's medalist, so somebody who has some freestyle success in the past. Colin Moore has... Man, he's somebody who I've just kind of grown to like more and more. Although he is that Ohio State guy, and I'm a Penn State guy at heart. Colin Moore, his story and just what he stands for. I mean, he's just somebody who is just a great person, as well as such a great wrestler who I love to watch wrestle. And he wrestled at the Wrestling Underground event this summer, where he did get a win, multiple-time All-American, as well as a U23 World Silver medalist. And I think we're going to see him going up in the finals against Kyle Snyder. So this is another match where we're going to see Buckeye against Buckeye, I believe, in the finals. Another weight, excuse me. We're going to see Buckeye against Buckeye in the finals. Just like I think we're going to see McKenna and Pletcher in the finals at 65 kilos. I think at 97, we could see another Buckeye matchup. And this is a weight, although Kyle Snyder is now with the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, this is going to, pretty dominant Ohio State overall in this freestyle event, in this senior nationals. We'll see if it ends up happening, but Kyle Snyder, the Olympic gold medalist, the Olympic gold champion, as well as a world champion, and many, many other freestyle successes. We saw him take massive leaps at the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club event, and I think we're going to still continue to see that at this event, where he's just going to roll through the bracket all the way up to the finals. And I'm super pumped to see Kyle Snyder competing in this event. Not somebody who I expected to be here, but I'm super excited that he's going to get some matches, more matches under his belt for the upcoming freestyle circuit and the Olympic World Trials. And at the 125 kilograms, we have our big guys. We have our big guys, and if you are a big guy or you just love watching the big guys, please leave a comment below on who you think is going to win this weight. Now, we have a lot of interesting stories here on top of these 5-seeded guys with Don Bradley, Paris, Hamida, Orndorff, and Hall. We also have Hilger, Jordan Wood, a few other good guys. You know, Hilger is somebody who didn't necessarily have the best recent summer match at Beat the Streets, but I think is still somebody who can be in this overall at senior nationals. We also have Tate Orndorff, who is somebody who just recently transferred to Ohio State. We'll see how he's now transferring at Ohio State. As I mentioned, we're going to have some strong Ohio State guys at this tournament, and maybe Tom Ryan and the guys there had some more influence on Orndorff, and we could see something there. As well as Mason Paris. Mason Paris, I think, is going to be the big dog here, where a lot of people are looking out for. And I think you're probably going to be, I know that watching the Fanco Wrestling community, many people love Mason Paris. And I think he's going to probably be a lot of your choices. But I think he is going to make the finals. But Don Bradley is somebody who, a multiple-time All-American from Mizzou, although I believe he's like 9-10 years older than Mason Paris, so he has some more experience under his belt. He's a former U.S. Open champion, Pan Am champ, and he actually wrestled Anthony Cassar last year. I think he's the guy who injured Anthony Cassar, unfortunately, at last year's event. So Bradley versus Paris, man, I'd love to see Paris get that upset, and I am rooting for Paris, to be honest with you. But Bradley is somebody. Can he overtake Bradley? I don't know. This is a tough. I'm gonna go with Paris. I'm pulling an audible. Although I picked Bradley originally in my prediction, I'm going with Mason Paris. I guess the underdog in this event, and I think he's going to ultimately win it. So that is who I think are going to win the senior nationals this year. And please, I mean, I'd love to know what you have to say. I'd like to do another video next week, kind of looking at what happened over the weekend. So make sure you stay tuned to the Fanco Wrestling YouTube channel. And at this time, I also want to thank all of my new patrons on this channel. It's super excited to have you supporting this channel and making this video as well as the future of Fanco Wrestling possible. Thank you so much.